the chivvy.
Alright guys, back more.
We went through a lot of them. As I said, the fire thing. He said loving the dungeon sound effects when the feeling of spice is lowered. Which Nick, I love that he's like, it's sound effects. Like, we didn't do that at the time. Really just like, you know, how the sausage gets made. He also said, all hail the queen. Congrats on fulfilling your childhood dream, Haley. You are undeniably a well-rounded and worthy champion of this game. You have sole survivor brains versus brawn. And then he had like a picture of a queen with Haley. And I want to say, like, thank you to George for doing the whole, like, monarchy storyline, because, like, my show this year was The Crown, and I have watched 0 episodes since Australian Survivor started, and I missed The Crown. And it gave me a little bit of remembrance of the show.
Oh my god, this is gonna be so long, isn't it? I should have
still kind of trying to work towards that Princess Diana.
Big Brother reviews already at an hour 44, based on where we're currently at.
You know, reminding me of what I've lost. As we said, he deleted the George tweet, so that was interesting. And then he had this whole thank you tweet, and it was this like photo of him in the outback, and his like buttons were all undone, and he's like listening. This is Julie, by the way, not George. Listening in the sunlight. Yeah. So I just wanted to make reference.
Yeah. So last time I did was at the. So I still need to do double eviction.
Listen again. Best host out there nowadays. Like, who else has a segment dedicated to
did I ever get an image for double eviction?
Stayed off the Twitter streets in lieu of what's happened recently. Nico certainly does stuff, but JLP's got personality in spades. So thank you and your sexual frustration, JLP, for keeping us well fed the entire season.
Alright. A couple of questions, which surely we've gotten to. It has been 3 hours, but I will ask you. Ask top returnees who've done that. Donald said, why didn't George push harder that he was never voted out of the game and was the only one in the final 4 who wasn't? And I wanted to touch on this because I feel like, A, we don't see everything that happens in Tribal Council. I wonder about any red tape around talking about it, or at least red tape in the edit. Because if there's a lot of, well, she was voted out, you're kind of undercutting your own format to a degree. It's like, well, she's less worthy because she benefited from this format. Like, I don't think the show wants people to think that that is a mark against her game. Even when Haley was talking about it, I don't know if they cut anything around it, but it felt like she was like, and I like, you know, I was playing really well, and then like some stuff happened, yada yada, and then I came back at Redemption Rob, you know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't really seem like a negative, which I don't know if she would have spoken about it like that, but I think the show wants people to be like, she earned her way back, like there's no negative that she got voted out, like this is part of the game, and I don't believe that even if he spoke about it, that's something they'd want to show to the audience.
I thought about that. Yeah, to quote the great Dan Wardog De Silva, the theme isn't on trial, you're on trial. I would not be surprised if that was the reception, though. It's that idea, right, that, like, again, because of all the twists involved in the game, you know, essentially what George would be saying is like, hey, if I was sitting next to Kara, I should win. If I was sitting next to Flick, I should win. Hey, Kara, Flick, can you vote for me? It's sort of a weird thing where if you're insulting the fact that you have, even though I think it is completely legitimate, you're also kind of insulting the jury at the same time if they had been in the same position.
Well, yeah, just so many of these jurors because it was just so commonplace. Nick Fishman asked, so was George drawing dead at Final 3? Should he have voted out Haley at 4 and prayed that Kara beats Flick? And I completely back his logic still. Like, he gave himself a shot, he knew it was a hard shot. Yeah. I feel like that final Tribal Council would have gone a lot better than that challenge of George, Kara, and Flick. I still think we saw a better outcome than that.
Yeah, agreed. And can I also give ups to George as well? Like, self-proclaimed weakling in the challenges still has 4.5 hours in that torture chamber. Like, that's fantastic. Well, good on all 3 of them, but again, like, George, I think we all assumed would be the first to drop off of that challenge. Though you don't know, Christy, again, was someone who overcame those types of odds. But the fact that he lasted the length of several Lord of the Rings movies that's being watched on the sidelines is actually a really fantastic feat. And, like, George, I think, is capable of more than maybe he realized in those days when he was maybe not giving his all in the challenges.
Yeah. It really does, I think, draw a line between, like, the weaker people on Survivor and, like, normal weak people like me. Like, I'm lazy. Like, I sit down in the shower, I get tired. Like, George is not
and threw that back.
Yeah. No, I'm like, if I'm gonna have like a long shower, like I don't have a bathtub.
Why is it so difficult to find news from this double eviction?
You're gonna sit down in the shower on the floor?
Why do that?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
You both sit down in the shower? This is wild to me.
What? Why is it so weird? I don't have a bathtub. What am I just meant to stand all the time when I have water on me in my
I just can't imagine sitting down in the shower and like letting water cascade.
Try it, it's nice.
Alright,
honestly, how have you never done that before?
You know what? TMI, I'm gonna go take, we're recording in my morning, I'm gonna go take a shower after this. I'm going to sit in the shower. I don't know, I feel like the only image I have associated with, like, sitting in the shower is, like, when you've suffered a bad breakup. You know, and you just, like, have to rock yourself back to becoming a semblance of a person.
What if you watched so much Survivor this week and you're just so tired and you just have a nice shower sit and let it all wash over you?
Oh, should that be the new endurance challenge? It's almost like Chinese water torture, where, like, a slow faucet is dripping on your head as you're sitting in a shower.
It's on fire. It's going one of two ways.
Okay, can you please put this on Twitter with a bit of a poll as well, please, Mike, so that we can see what the general people think.
Do people sit in the shower?
I haven't done it in a while. Like, it was something that I used to do as, like, a kid.
Do you have a bathtub?
I do have a bathtub.
Yeah, so, like, I don't have if I wanted to sit and have a nice relaxing time, I'd have a bath, but I don't have a bathtub, and then I'm a being judged.
I don't know, sitting in a shower does not sound relaxing to me in the slightest.
I mean, it's not great. It'd be better. But it's the best I got right now. How do we start? Oh, right, George did 4.5 hours. Yeah, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, that's not for me. So those are the questions that I have. And the show's going to be back in February, as they told us, with some, like, blue and red vague seeming thing. And then there were, like, waves. Who knows what that's about? That's it. That's the podcast. That's all I got.
Those are all the questions?
Well, we got through so many of them that I just started cutting them out because you talked about so much. They were like, covered it, Like, why you just, like, there was a Google Doc with the questions? No, there wasn't. Don't watch it. This is what we got. We ended on the note of shower sitting.
Started with torture devices, ended on shower sitting. I wouldn't want to spend a night with you guys doing anything else.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much.
All right, well... Okay, let's talk about what's
I
happening in the
try to get
podcast world,
money
and then I'm
from
going
this
to
week,
the real reason we're here, the song, the musical moment of the podcast. But Nick, where can people follow you? Well, what's going on with you?
You can follow me at Nick Idanza on Insta and Twitter. I am counting down the days till the school term is over, and then my wife and I and my children, we are flying to Perth for Harry's wedding.
That's so lovely.
Yeah, we
so
were worried about Corona shutting us out, and
well, don't say anything yet.
we're currently allowed, and hopefully we don't get trapped there.
When is it?
On the 2 weekends.
We don't give the date yet, but soon.
Yeah,
hopefully COVID doesn't come to either of those states. Yeah.
Yes, so looking forward to that. It's going to be a bit of a mini Survivor reunion with all the Perth people. AK and I are going, but I don't think none of the survivors from Sydney and Melbourne can obviously leave. But it's going to be a lot of fun. So that'll be a nice catch up, considering it's been a very long time since I've seen my little housing client. So yeah.
There's no way. Like, I've been in Sydney and Melbourne for this season. Came from Sydney to Melbourne. I quarantined. Did the pre-season.
Oh, these are
Sydney,
instant deaths.
I have been out of lockdown for 9 days of this season. I went to 3 dinners. That's why season's been a lot for me. This has been my whole South Africa. This has been my whole freaking life. It's weird that it's over. Strange to think about. Yeah. Anyway, this is what I'll think about when I'm sitting in the shower later. Mike, what do you have going on in the podcast world?
Yeah, besides shower sitting, like you said, our duty is not over yet. When it comes to International Survivor, finale week has just gotten started. And so you and I are going to be coming back together this weekend to recap the finale of Survivor South Africa. We've got plenty of deep dives coming up after that, but it'll be nice to have just the two of us get together. Talk for probably way too long about the 2-hour finale and the season in general, so that's going to be a really great time. Of course, hey, guess what's happening next week? US Survivor is coming back, and I have been in pre-season mode. I have already done, on the first day the cast was released, I sat down with Rob Cesarino and we talked through some of the new changes in the format and a preview of the cast. I did 3 separate podcasts with Rob playing audio interviews from the cast like Shannon and I did for Survivor South Africa. I also have 18 preseason interviews in full up with the cast over at Parade.com, as well as some other Survivor goodies. And Leon and Boris and I got together last night and recorded their first RHAP B&B of Survivor 41. Very excited about that, doing weekly coverage of Survivor starting next weekend. So all of that is going on. Also, for some reason, on top of all that, they decided to drop The Circle. US Season 3 is out with its first 4 episodes, and I have been doing exit press with the cast. Those will be coming out as they're eliminated each and every week, starting with Wednesday. If you're listening to this, there should be some exit interviews over at Parade.com. Don't read them unless, you don't want to be spoiled, but some really interesting discussions there. Then, of course, post-show recaps, the Bloom Files, which is the X-Files podcast I do with my wife, Angela, and Lost Down the Hatch. We are nearing the end of the series. This week we are recapping the 2-hour premiere of Lost Season 6. It's sad to get to this spot, but there's a lot of trippiness, a lot of twistiness still involved, and it's talking about a flight from Australia, so I'm still going to be within Oceania, but I'm very excited to have more Survivor in our future. It really is just like hopping off one train, hopping onto another while they're both going at the same time.
It doesn't even feel like hopping off anything. It's just like the train keeps going just through different tunnels. That's how I feel. I mean, I'm currently in the midst of covering pretty much 4 different seasons of Survivor at this time. As you talked about, Survivor South Africa. We had Verna on the penultimate week. Then we're going to cover the finale. We have exits for that. We're going to end up having deep dives for that. As I said, the exits for this are already out. Definitely check those out. And then deep dives are coming with Haley and George very soon. I'm not 100% sure what I'm thinking about after that. I mean, I had Haley and George booked in weeks ago as like the clear 2 characters, never thinking they'd be the final 2. Those are the only people I've booked in so far. I need to probably take a moment after that to just like breathe and think about where I want to go. Not saying that's necessarily done. Not saying it's not necessarily not done. I'm not sure. But Haley and George are coming very, very soon. And then in a few hours from now, I will be talking about Heroes vs. Villains, the #1 ranked season on RHAP. I'm going to try to remember what on earth happened in that season with all of AU just like flooding my mind. And then the US 41, as we're saying, Survivor Global. Follow me there on this feed. You can subscribe to International Survivor Havoc feed. I will be doing US Survivor coverage with international players on Survivor Global every week for season 41. So follow me at Shannon Gates for all of that.
Can we just take a moment and, as someone who is not producing all the podcasts and content that you guys are, I'm going to thank you all on behalf of everyone listening, because you guys are getting so many people through quarantine, through lockdown. I know that you guys do it because you love it and it's your job and all that kind of stuff, but I hope you know how much people appreciate all the stuff that you guys are doing, and how much time you take away from your families, and how much time you take away from your other hobbies, and all this stuff.
For the crown?
For the crown, right? I hope you guys know how appreciated it is from every person out there listening on their way to work or on their, in the shower, whatever, while they're just in the shower. So just a thank you to all of those people who are currently nodding their heads at how much work you two do for the community. So thank you.
And well, I mean, let me also thank you, Nick. Let me also voice that credit onto Shannon specifically from the Australian Survivor perspective, because look, we do a good line share for South Africa, but here between the 3 episodes, between the exits, between talking tribal, Shannon, you are a.
You're talking tribal. I didn't plug that. What's talking tribal?
Yeah, but you're a one-woman operation for this, and you have been, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy that, once upon a time you applied to be Nick's intern on the Know-It-Alls. You can come on and do this eventually. The care and knowledge and passion you have for this season is just, it really vibes, and you can hear that from the players who talk with you and say they love listening to you. You are one of the foremost experts in Survivor, period, let alone Australian Survivor. I know this season was tough to recap at points, to the point where people were saying we're going to jump off, between everything that was going on. It made a strategy nerd that yourself melt down at some point. You probably ask yourself, why am I doing this? But I hope by the end you see why. I mean, to have thousands of dollars be donated to a cause for the podcast alone, I think just shows the impact that you have in the community and how lucky we are to have you in our lives.
So sweet, guys. Thank you so much. I mean, I should thank people, because it's not a one-woman show. Like, my guests, you guys, all the support you give me, venting about anything, all the support, the technical support that we get from the team. Tricky does the design, and Scott producing it, but, yeah.
No, what the fuck? I can't get down there.
Peter. He, loses his wife to Survivor. We watch Survivor together, but that's, the most time we can spend, and it is a lot. And I very rarely was why am I doing this season at all? I really enjoyed it. I love doing it. I know that the audience isn't necessarily going to agree with everything I say, because I say a lot of opinionated things. Maybe, if you don't agree with one thing, you probably catch the next thing. hopefully. But I will say, like, I give everything I have to this, like, truly everything that I have. Like, you can never doubt how much I care about this franchise. Like,
I was just about to say.
It's like, it's all with love.
I was about to say that, like, you know, we put podcasts on, we flick them on, we flick them off, all this kind of stuff, but, like, no one will ever know the amount of care that Shannon has for this podcast. Like, you will never know. Like, whatever you think it is, quadruple it.
Yeah.
Like, we have a chat thread that has receipts.
Fuck that.
If we ever need to prove to people how much Shannon cares. So, yeah, not to belabor the point, but, yeah.
Is that really what just happened?
So much about this, and I hope people get enjoyment from it. Like, for me, like, the biggest thing for me has been whenever anyone's like, you got me through a lockdown day or a hard day, because I know how it's been, like, I get it. I mean, Melbourne's
especially for Australia. Yeah, you had a rough few months.
Yeah, Sydney and Melbourne, like, we're going through it. It's tough, and whenever anyone's like, not that it's like this major thing, but like when someone's like, you made that day a little bit better, I'm like, that is actually it. As much I love it, but that is it. So thank you to everyone who's listened so much. Thank you to everyone who's been along for the journey, who's listened, hopefully. And I will be here next season caring way too much about this, and I hope we have a fun time with it together. But speaking of caring way too much about things, my song, which this is the story with the song. Week 1, came on with Rob with the podcast. He was like, you should do a one-off just for, like, we'll be back for the King George song, just for that song, because it, like, writes itself for George. And I thought, you know what, when George goes next week,
That's 3.5 hours in South Africa.
And then he didn't go home, and I thought, but week 3, when he goes home, I am going to do that. Did I think he'd make it to the finale? Did I think it would become about him losing in a jury vote? I did not. But damn it if I wasn't going to get the song that I've had some life for, like, months at this point. I was going to get my song, and I'm going to play the song. So that's what's coming up next. Thank you to everyone who sat through a well over 3-hour podcast for all of this, talking through it all. And Mike and Nick, thank you guys so much for being my final guests for the recap, and for everything you give me. Like, so grateful for your friendship in every single way.
Oh, the pleasure is all ours. Bring on the song.
Okay, let's do it. Take it away, me. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
They say the price of the win is not a price that they're willing to
Yeah, I'm gonna skip this though.
pay. Cry.
God damn it. It won't download, that's really annoying. It's literally right there. Maybe it's just not fully in yet. Like it won't play either, so whatever. Let's do the Haley interview.
And T-Mobile went into a
Hello everyone and welcome to RTP's coverage of Australian Survivor Braves vs Brawn. I'm your host Shannon Gus, here for officially the postseason. The season is over. All go listen to those if you haven't. And we're here doing the deep dives, the first deep dive of the season, and it is one that I'm so excited for. It's one that I put in a very long time ago because she was such a huge player from so early on. I didn't know that she was necessarily going to win. Well, it looked pretty good. I will say it was pretty good wins at it, but I knew that she was going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I would have to talk to her. And now she is the most recent Australian Survivor winner, the Chizzy winner, the queen herself. It's Haley Lee. Haley, thank you for being here.
Hey, oh my god, like, I love, obviously I love that I've won, but I won the Chizzy, how is that?
Yeah, I know, you're really just like killing it on every level, every single thing is being just like, you've dominated in every respect. You won the Chizzy, you won the game, like what an incredible week for you that it's been.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild, like, it's a funny old thing, I'm still absolutely coming to terms that it will take a while to sink in that I've won. I don't think I've said it out loud many times, like, I've won. Survivor, I won Survivor. That's weird.
You won. You won 4 days ago now. And what's it like in the post-Australian Survivor winner world compared to before, where you were just like the rest of us, not Survivor winners?
Oh, look, it's awesome. Yeah, it's probably different to what all the other winners have experienced because it's lockdown in Sydney, and that's where I have been experiencing the whole of the season. So we didn't get a finale. I think almost like getting together with all of the players will kind of cement it a little bit, because we did a Zoom on the night, but we really need to kind of celebrate together once lockdown ends. Regardless, it does feel amazing. Like I've got a big Survivor family, and they've just been really, really incredibly supportive, and all the fans have been writing amazing things, and yeah, I'm feeling pretty chuffed right now.
Well, that's great. I mean, yeah, you didn't even get a finale. You don't get a reunion. And you can't even watch it with, like, your family. Like, you can't watch it with friends, even have, like, a big viewing party. And, like, this whole season, right? Like, you haven't even been able to have viewing parties for the entire season. That must have been hard.
Yeah, I think, like, I know nothing different, so I'm okay with it, and I still feel very grateful to have gotten on a season when COVID has taken over, when we didn't know if this would happen at all. So I don't really feel hard done by it. In the least, I don't feel hard done by it. But I do wonder how that would feel to be able to have experienced this with friends and family and fans, and to watch it together. Any previous players that I talked to say that, wow, I really missed out on that. But I can't help but just feel grateful that we got to do it at all.
Yeah, it must have been a lot on Jimmy, right? Like, he was getting a viewing party partner for every single episode. That's all you had.
Yeah, just him and me in this, like, tiny one-bedroom apartment, like, and, afterwards calling all the players, recapping it, and he, like, listening to all of it, getting all of my, like, up and down emotions, but it's been an absolute chat. Like, it's been a rock.
So you have a husband who hasn't spoken about anything but Survivor for the last few months. Like, I feel like he and Peter should chat and maybe talk about anything else and just, like, get that out of their system.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm very excited for Jimmy for this to be over, so that he can, have something else. I think that, people talk about this, they're the forgotten players of the season, the partners, the family, the kids that have put up with us during leave. We come back, all we talk about and think about is the show, the game, and they just have to smile and nod and be excited for us.
Yeah, but most of them don't get $500,000, so, like, it'll be okay. It was worth it. It was fine.
They're not complaining yet.
Alright, we have so much to talk about, and I want to get into everything pre-game before we actually talk about the season, because you came in as one of very, very few fans on the season, and I know that a lot of people were interested in your level of fandom. Can you talk it through? You said you've been watching for 20 years. Has it been just, like, super fandom from moment one, or has it been something that's been, like, growing in that time?
Look, it's growing for sure. Because I would have been 10 when it started. I probably have what I think I've heard is a pretty similar experience. In that, like, I watched, it must have been like the first 10 seasons, first 5 years, and then that next 10 season was a bit lower. Like, I didn't see them because I think it went off.
Because it went, yes.
Yeah, it went.
17 and 18, we thought that they had that they cancelled it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they kept doing the ads with Russell Hands, and we were like, oh, it's not cancelled, how fun. It really went.
Yeah. Yes, we missed it all, so I had to go back and watch those later in my life. But then like for the last 20 seasons, like amazing to pick it all back up again. And yeah, I've always loved it. I have a really big supportive Survivor family as well, which really helps. So like my auntie Kathy is super into it, and like her kids Jacob, Joel, and Hannah are super into it, and my cousin Lauren. Like I have a really big supportive Survivor family. So it's fun for us to all talk about it. And yeah, so I guess I don't know. I just love it. Like it's a kind of thing where like on my first day of the PhD, I sat with my research group, and this is what like 3 and a bit years ago, and they're like, oh, so tell us something interesting about you that no one else would know. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, what's interesting? Oh, I know, I'm a massive Survivor fan, and if I disappear out of nowhere, it's because I'm on Survivor. And like, meant it as a joke, but it actually happened. So yeah, I don't know, how does it go? It's just such a great game, like, I just love it.
Yeah, so was this your first time applying, or like when it came to Australia, you were like, this is the thing I'm gonna do?
No, this was my first time applying. So I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed watching the strategy, the entertainment of the game. I'm not someone who ever thought I would play. It came to Australia, and I think, oh, imagine playing. But then, like, 2 things. One, I wasn't really excited to be on TV. 2, like, I didn't really picture myself on there. Like, I didn't know what my character would be, what would be my narrative, would I be any good? And then 3, like, I want to see how it goes. Like, I'm not sure if Australia's going to do this well, right? You want to watch a few seasons to see if they treat the characters the same way America does, which I feel like is pretty true to who those people are, rather than a reality show that you can be kind of villainized or something on.
Wait, and watching what they did convinced you to lie? I feel like that should have had the opposite effect.
No, I watched it and I thought, oh yeah, like, Nick seems like Nick, Phoebe seems like Phoebe. Like this, I watched it and I thought, I like all of these people. Like, this hasn't turned me off to anyone. I didn't walk away thinking that person's a bad person. I thought, oh, maybe they play the game well or not. So it did give me confidence that it would be okay to apply, but I still didn't think, I wasn't inspired by anything about me to apply until I don't know what changed. Just like I woke up one day and I thought, there's so many parallels between pain research, which I'm now deeply into, and Survivor, because pain is all about, like, the brain provides pain protection. And so when we research pain, we try to manipulate threat. And that's not just what's happening in your body, that's like what's happening around you, what you're thinking, like anything that could be threatening that can create a reason for the brain to protect you. So when we study pain, we manipulate threat. And I thought, Jesus, that's exactly what Survivor is. It's about manipulating threats. You know, you want you to be a lower threat, someone else to be higher, you know, putting the blame on someone else. And I just thought that would make such an interesting audition video. And I got excited about the prospect of making that. And on the day that I thought of it, I just thought, I'm just going to do this right now. Made it, just like put the iPhone up, spoke to the iPhone, like didn't really do anything else.
I don't even know how I did it.
Pictures on top.
Oh,
just me speaking one long, 2-minute clip. And that's it, sent it in, and yeah, I just kept going through the process and just getting so excited. Like, I have a whole diary I kept from like the day I submitted the video, the day I got like the next step of the Zoom call, the day that like I got pulled into the audition process, like again, I've recorded all those thoughts along the way, and that's, I don't know, it's just amazing. I feel like it kept going for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to me that you think that you weren't inspired by yourself to audition, because I feel like if I were you, and you're a fan, so you know what works, like, I feel like you're quite objectively, like, the prototype of what a Survivor player should be. Like, I just watched Heroes vs. Villains, and they have that, like, cursed all-winners prototype of, like, what would be the best player. It's, like, everyone's different features. It's terrifying. But, like, you have, like, experience in ballet, right? So, like, the balance, like,
oh my god, I'm a fucking idiot.
You're a huge
I'm a fucking idiot. What the fuck?
Think about things so much, like, I feel like you're pretty much, like, perfectly placed to play the game.
Yeah, but, like, I guess that's not how I see myself. Like, I can hear what you're saying, and I can see that that's probably not wrong. But,
no.
I guess when I went on there and I thought, so for example, we found out we're going to go on, we had a year of waiting before COVID, nothing to say about that, but I then made the assumption that, okay, so everyone's had a year of waiting, therefore everybody's going to have watched all the seasons, anyway I have.
Yeah,
and so therefore I'm going to go on and everyone's going to be playing really hard, they're all going to be like, and when I said it, like, I pretended I wasn't a fan, and lots of other people were like, no, I don't want you to do that, and I thought they were lying like me, like, I'm like, you're all being super strategic, aren't you? Like, and so it took me ages to figure out, oh no, they haven't analysed the show, they don't actually do how it works. I just thought everyone was playing really hard, and I just assumed in the back of All Stars they might be recruiting like big fans, or mainly just that everyone had a year, and like it just seems so like it is exactly what I would do. It blew my mind that if you had a year to prepare, you wouldn't be spending all the time you could preparing.
No,
so I didn't account for the fact that people weren't like me.
Yeah, or people were like not watching an episode and all of that prep time, being confused about like rules and what happens on like revotes. So that was the thing about this cast. But as you said, like, you had a year, right? You meant to go out literally 1 year earlier, and then COVID hits, and then you're put like on a wait. Were you assured that you would definitely play it the next time, or were you like in like a maybe region then?
I was maybe, so it was called, I was shortlisted. So I'd done the final interview and the single one after that, one-on-one, and then I had done the psych, medical, like every testing, physical, like fitness, swimming, all that was done. And they were asking for my passport, and then they were like, oh, COVID, and you're shortlisted, but they couldn't say for sure if I was on or not. But I assumed that meant that I was either on or I was an alternate. So my biggest fear is that I was an alternate this whole year of waiting. And I I tried to do two things. Like, I tried to prepare as much as I could for the game, while mentally.
Wait, what? There's multiple ones?
It might not be able to happen, but I just trusted I
Wait,
was
where's
resilient
this
enough
other
to
one?
manage that. That was
I thought that was
so
the only
when I
one.
finally did get the call. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. It's like, so 6 months into that process, I was getting emails saying, keep these dates open, we're going to try to do it. And I'm like, and then they were like, okay, we're not. So stand by, but like, that's not going to happen. So you have this like 6 month, like, and then no. And you just start thinking, God, how are they ever going to make this happen? I'm picturing all these challenges set up in Fiji, then trying to put it on a barge or something and bring them back here, which I'm sure is not what happened, but that's what I'm picturing. Like, how do they make this work? Knowing that in Fiji they do get these benefits from the Fijian government, financially make work, and then I guess when the Queensland government announced that they were going to put some cash in to help, you start getting excited that it will happen, and it did. So I don't know how you manage that. I just prepared, hoping it would happen.
I literally can't even imagine the anxiety of like maybe being in for that long and not having it be 100%. And as you said, you were doing so much prep. We have heard parts of that. Sarah Talee came on and talked about your secret account. You were messaging people. I think at the time, Nick told me, he's like, oh, someone reached out and like was asking him questions. And like listened to the podcast. He was like, at least we have one podcast listener. And little did I know you would be one of very, very few on the season. And like the second that I kind of like saw the cast and got to know you guys, I was like, it could only really be you, because he said it was a woman. So yeah, like tell us about all the prep, all of that. You were posting a bit about like the puzzle prep, the secret accounts, talking to the players, physical prep, like everything you were doing. Probably more prep than the rest of the cast combined, with some key outliers possibly. Look, it's in my nature to want to like over prepare for stuff. Like, I do research and I think it's part of that in design. I just want to be fully prepared. So, what did I do? Alright, so the Instagram account thing.
Weird.
That was
fuck, that was
firstly
also.
driven from
There's the other one.
wardrobe,
There's two more?
issue is that they give. It's really hard. Like, you've got these specifications you're given about what you are and aren't allowed to wear, and you've got to find a wardrobe for that. And I'm not a clothes fashion person at all. I'm really bad. And I'm gonna go on TV, right? So you want to like look good. I love that Shawnee had her red dress. You're like, oh, I want to kind of have something like that, but
this is all.
As you for Halloween, yes.
yeah, something like iconic. And but then you have to fit the specifications. You also want to be, warm and dry and comfortable and be able to sleep. I found it very, very difficult to fit those specs, and so I made a fake Instagram account. And I just added all the survivors on it, and I wrote to them, and I can't remember what my message would have said something like, hey, I'm cast on the next Australian Survivor, and I can't tell you who I am or anything about me, but I would like some advice on wardrobe. I was amazed at how many replied. I probably had, 15 people reply. I wrote mainly just the women. And Nick. I did write to Nick. I wrote something different to Nick about my wardrobe. All of those women replied, bar one who just sent me a link to their Cameo account.
I love that.
Which I didn't follow up on, but I think it's fantastic. I want to get cameos from people, but I think that probably wouldn't have been sufficient for the questions I had. And look, I took their advice, but I think I probably needed to account more for the fact that I was in Australia, because the gist of their advice was don't wear denim. Yes, it's good advice. Like, Fenella was like, do not wear denim. She had a little denim overall. And get things that dry quickly. This was heavy on their list. Dry quickly, which actually doesn't matter in the Australian outback. It didn't rain, really, by one day. And what else were they saying? Leia, I think it was too interesting, but I was just losing my mind because these players are writing back to me, which is very exciting. And sometimes I do get other bits of advice I can't think of right now.
Without the need for a Cameo, maybe everyone should be making fake Instagram accounts saying they're going on the show and then using it to reach out to players. Like, that's fun. Just for the fun of being able to do that.
That's all for
Kia wrote back, she was like, I do not ever ever reply to people, but you've really piqued my interest, so I'm going to give you my advice.
Thank God you were on the level. Like, imagine you being manipulated there.
And then, and I wrote to Nick because I listened to his deep dive and he talked about having a folder of puzzles. that he had looked up, and I'm like, I can save so much time if I just get that folder. And I was going to Adelaide in a short period, and I was like, hey, can I get that folder off you? It was so nice. He replied, he's like, yeah, it's in the attic. And he's like, and then the conversation died. I never actually went to Adelaide, so I couldn't get it. I made my own folder anyway. But yeah, that was my like prep for Insta. And then other prep would have been I watched all the shows. Like I watched a lot. So I've had a year. So
No, oh my god, what the fuck?
And some key American ones that I liked. And I made some spreadsheets. I got them up. So I put them. I put the order of who voted out, who was it. But for a while I was putting age and sex down about when they were getting voted out, and then I ditched it because like that's not something I can control.
He could have told you who to like put the target on, although that would have been pretty dire. It's like you guys like this person is by my calculations the most likely person to be a target, and we should pile on down to that.
No.
And especially probably for a while might look pretty sad.
And that the theme becomes pretty obvious. You know, it's the old person normally who goes to the start, and the older less fit person normally, and I didn't want that anymore, so I got rid of it. And then I kind of just had like I kept in mind who the winner was during making these, and so I was watching their game. So I had why each person was getting voted out at which stage, and I had a column for like the winner's game, like what was the winner doing in each episode. I had just like general tips next to that. So like if it was a good episode where a minority had been able to flip and get the majority out, like how did they do that? What did they do to flip the numbers? And then I kind of was just I did this like and highlighted how many times the winner was in went to tribal. Just trying to figure out how often if you go to tribal all the time, you even get to how often you actually get to the end. And yeah, ideally you go, what was the percentage at the end? 86%. What is it? This is like
no.
This is America.
How am I supposed to do that?
They were at risk 36%. I'm not sure what the maths on that is. But anyway, I just did lots of that. It was fun. Yes, that's how I prepped. And I kind of was just looking for themes, what do people do at certain stages of the game that seem to get them in trouble, and lots of them seem to be personality based at the start.
There we go.
If you're in a minority, what are your options to get out of that minority? Track the majority, spread a lie, how often do those kinds of things work? Yes, I did that, and I will just spreadsheet. It's really helpful, even game theory.
Oh my god, what the fuck? That was so close.
So maybe we should collaborate on sharing some info.
Yeah, the funny thing is, when I was doing the backstory to go on the show, they kept saying, you can introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Hayley, I'm a super fan. And I'm like, I don't want to use that phrase super fan because I know that some people are really big fans, and I thought that I didn't consider myself a super fan because I know that people are really, really, really big fans of people like yourself. So much you can I don't know. So I didn't want to use that term, and I kind of avoided it.
No, but in the Survivor South Africa pre-season, I was making people really paranoid about whether they were a super fan, so I've stopped doing that now because people are. It just wasn't going well.
Yeah, I'm too scared to use it.
No, you are a super fan. Obviously you have spreadsheets about the show, and because people who are legitimate super fans being but I just didn't want to say it. Whereas people who aren't super fans will always say it, and that's what will annoy me. Whereas people like you who definitely are, and they'll be like, no, this is why quantifying it is becoming an issue because now it's going wrong, and it's only locking out people like you, and that's wrong.
Yeah, it's confusing. We went on the show, and some people were like, I'm the biggest fan of this show, and I'm like, amazing. What's your favorite? I was trying to talk about America, and they're like, oh no, I haven't seen any American series. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine.
It's fine. It's just that you're a hardcore casual. There's ways to quantify these things.
And as long as you're watching Survivor, I don't care. As long as you're loving it, we can talk. Yeah. So I made those. I found this I found somewhere on Reddit this archetype, this massive spreadsheet someone made about archetypes, and I tried to look at that and figure out which archetype I was, and I kind of fit into this archetype of which is probably most present, Kim Spradlin, Sophie Clark. I don't have that page up, but and so I watched their seasons, and I just I can't watch Rob's season and be like, how does he play? Because I'm not like him. Maybe Dave watches Rob's season and tries to emulate that or something, but that's I'm different, I'm perceived differently by people. So I want to understand how someone who is like me, similar age, similar characteristics, how are they perceived by people and where do they go wrong? Because that's the place I would learn the most. I think if you're preparing for the show, you have to watch everyone's game and study all of them, but I find people similar to you, I guess, do and emulate their games.
I'm having a memory. I think you messaged me and asked me what had happened at like the Marishka vote of Survivor South Africa Philippines, and I was like, I don't really remember.
I think it was that's like, when I thought I was past it, when I had that whole year, I wanted to reach out to so many people on Survivor and talk. I felt like I was muzzled because I couldn't say I'm on the show, which doesn't matter, I can still reach out and talk, but I felt like I shouldn't because I was too scared to do anything that might ruin my chances of getting on. Like I was catastrophizing that what if Shannon tells Channel 10 that I beat Dean and they're like, she's been too short, let's just...
I will never ever do that. If anyone else is ever having that concern, it's not a concern you need to have.
I was so worried that like...
Oh fuck, we can carry things now?
Any tiny little wrong thing that I would lose my greatest chance to like get on this game, and that was not an issue. So I shouldn't have worried about
Wait, I remember what happened. You asked me, I responded something, you never responded. And then I think when the cast was coming out, you responded to my message being like, okay, thanks, about the Marishka vote, which was like months and months and months and months later. And I remember thinking, that was weird, and I didn't like look at the name or think anything. And then when we did the cast preview, I messaged you and I was like, oh, I think that she said she's like a podcast. I don't know what it was, but like something that showed you were a fan. And then you messaged me again, and I scrolled up and I'm like, this is the Marishka vote person. And that's why there was such a long layoff between messages, because that was a strange interaction, and I just kind of shrugged it off. And you were probably trying to get to me like, the cast, like it's me, and I was just like, okay, put a DM.
How is this?
So now we know. That's what happened.
Yeah, I guess like that's like.
Oh, I'm a fucking idiot. I'm literally a fucking idiot. I just hit this. I'm a fucking idiot.
That's right. I think you said on the preview thing like, she says she's a fan. Well, she's following me on Twitter, so maybe she did. I do that like, if she's a fan or not. Only
I DM'd you about Marishka, and I DM'd you again to trigger like that this has happened, and you still, I didn't look at the DM. And I know, next time I will. But yeah, no, you were definitely a fan, and I told you that, and then you called yourself that.
No.
I made myself the person who does that for some reason. That's what people love.
Wait, I'm an idiot. We're past 30, aren't we?
What is the best part of your week? That I've just validated that for you.
Yeah, that's right. I've been waiting for that.
Okay, so you did a ton of prep. Were you doing like physical prep as well? Because obviously you come in and you're the perfect amalgamation of brain and brawn. Like, did you get physically stronger in that time, or you were going to come in strong anyway?
Damn it.
You have,
Oh my god, I'm a
ballet and
fucking
stuff,
idiot.
which again, perfect for Survivor.
Yeah, I did a massive amount of physical prep, but when I say that, I just mean I went to the gym substantially, did like high intensity training with heavy on the weight. I tried back my balance, so that would be fine. I got my agility from dance, but I just want to get way too strong. I practice puzzles, did a lot of puzzles. So that's all. Actually, it was only just the gym. I didn't, if I did this again, which I'm not planning to do, but I would do some throwing. Like, I didn't really account for the fact that they're in a country town, and the town where everyone does ballet, everyone does netball or basketball or football, some sort of ball sport, but I didn't.
No, oh my god.
And I actually, it's not just that I don't know how to throw a ball, but
I think what we're gonna need to do is probably kill it. There we go.
Like, anytime someone else sees
What?
netball team is easy, like, just
Okay.
something, I'm like, I have literally no idea how to do that, and I'm terrified. I just never did it, I felt like I was not less of anything, but just, I didn't want to, so I would practice throwing. That would be my thing I would need to do.
The one thing, Peter has said, and I've told you that if we get back to Sydney at a time when you are there, like we're going to the arcade, and he said just evil, that's the one thing you would want that whole community. That's like the only flaw in your whole game. And what's so annoying is that like,
Oh, what the fuck, game? You fucking slam on it.
I was so close, and that one when Danny won it, which was like the swimming one, the throwing at the end of that, those are two of them that I could have taken had I known how to throw, and I would have had 6, but who knows if it would have been at the end, maybe they would have been scared of me more.
It worked out. It was on
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, okay. I don't need. I'm happy with that.
It's fine. You got most things.
Yeah.
So you find out that you're actually gonna go with
No.
something there, and it's like 100% after all this waiting, after all this prep, and actually getting on a plane and going to Hungary and playing the game.
The feeling is relief. Like I've been happy and excited and full of adrenaline for a year, and now it's just fear that it won't happen. So when I
No,
find out,
hit him!
it's like,
Oh my fucking god, thank you.
ecstatic. I'm just relieved. And my
Ah, fuck. Oh wait, there's a thing? Wait, where's the thing I need to hit? Oh shit.
But hang on, am I an alternate? Like, my biggest fear was that I was an alternate, and all of that, I wouldn't actually be the one.
No, what?
And I'm just reassuring me that I'm not an alternate, I'm actually on the game. I'm like, but on the game, on, and they're like, yes, you're on the game. Amazing. It's relief,
No.
like, massive relief, and
What the fuck, game?
I don't know. I don't know, how do you process that feeling, man? Just happy, really.
Probably how you're processing all the other feelings this week. Winning, like the chizzy, I just called you a fan. There's a lot going on. Yeah, and what did you
No,
think?
damn it.
Brain, like I thought it was brain from uni, so I was surprised it was just brain Ron. But happy because, okay, so a few feelings. Happy because I like those seasons in America, and I do like the idea that they're bringing them in to Australia. I also felt very proud to be like, it's a brain.
Oh my god. Fuck, another one.
I was like, excellent. Like, I'm very happy with
I really
that.
fucking hate these.
But at the same time, terrified because the brain tribe has been decimated historically.
No.
It has similar fears for you guys. Yeah, so like in the like when they're doing the interview
No, damn it, I almost had it.
Ready to go. They kind of ask, like, they kind of prep you up, saying things like, you're gonna get better, and saying like, yeah, brain's gonna do great, because brain is the strongest muscle in the body, which kills me because the brain is not a muscle.
No.
Yeah, so please, just like get that on record, the brain's not a muscle, and to have a brain name that is horrible. Anyway, but,
No.
they kept saying, yeah, like, you know, just talk about how the brain's gonna win, and I'm like, we can't, like, we're not. It's
No, I was so fucking close, god damn it.
rude. So I was terrified that we wouldn't do well. So I used to, try to do more of the puzzle stuff as we were closer. So
No, what the fuck?
Would equalize us. And yeah, but I did. I was happy with the theme, mainly self-interest in my self-interested way. That I was happy to be a
I
brain.
hate this so much.
That is a fun one. Although it does give the license where if you do something wrong, I would be on the podcast like you are the brain strike, which did happen. Not for you, but a couple of other people. So it's more pressure, I guess, to actually do smart things.
Yeah, but that was pretty pressure.
No. I hate this section so fucking much.
I almost took it to mean like, do you make a living out of your brain or your body? That's what I sort of thought they meant it by, so... Yeah, but then we have some pretty, like... Yeah, then you... Like, Andrew makes a living out of his body. Yeah. He's an expert at, so like, that is brain, so I guess... I am not upset that we got to have people like Andrew and Baden on our tribe.
Well, that's how they did it, because they didn't want you to get completely pummeled. And you are so strong, like they had to find really strong brains.
Yeah, I don't know if they accounted for me being strong though. I don't think I looked or had any background that maybe did that. But who knows, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember from like the opening package, it's like, oh, well, this is a good combination of skills. So possibly I think they have to have been thinking about that, surely, that they couldn't just have like a brain. Like if I went out there and labeled myself a brain, like we really would get pummeled. Like it wouldn't be an even thing. It would be what everyone expected it to be. But went a little better for you guys, and you get on the beach. Not the beach. I can't stop saying beach. Get it?
I know. I said
It's kind of like
go to that beach before that beach. Yeah, like Ruben's roll.
No, fuck. I had it. I just didn't fucking step on it.
Relationships, because even through like you being the middle boy, we don't get a ton of that, and it's
Fuck.
very George focused, which we will get into. But what was like the initial dynamic that you were personally finding?
Yeah, look, I was a bit like, I've chatted a lot to Phil about this, and I was a bit like feeling that we're both, like, Phil's a fan, like, we both went in there thinking, oh my god, everyone's gonna be a fan, and therefore we can't play too quickly, like, we don't want to be too strategic too quickly.
No, what am I doing? Fuck off. How is this not a checkpoint?
You did say
a good thing. You don't want to tell people that, especially people who don't know how the game works. They find that threatening. I wasn't talking strategy for the first 24 hours. It was just, relationships. I got on very well with Rachel. So Rachel was someone who I thought I would have a very strong relationship with far into the game, except for I've sort of ruined that. I just think she's an incredible human, like salt of the earth. And you look into her eyes and you're like, you're person. Yes, I really, really like Rachel, so I had a good relationship with her. Straight up. I really liked Phil, although we hadn't talked strategy, I thought that we had potential to do some stuff. Mitch really took wanted to work with me. I was unsure about if I wanted to work with Mitch, but he locked onto me. He wanted me and Cara to work with him.
He's been burned by you guys.
Yeah. I don't know which is, I understand that. He put a lot of trust in me, but he was someone who came up to me on day 2 and said,
no, what's down? I push fucking down.
And I was like, ooh, that's such a thing. Don't say that. Like, that's terrible. Like, any advice would be like, don't tell someone on day 2 you want to go to find with them. Because it's not a compliment. Like, it doesn't breed trust. It breeds the opposite. Because you're like, how would you know that? And is that a compliment or do you think I'm gonna go? Like, are you just gonna try to pull me out? Like, what does that even mean on day 2? So I wouldn't recommend that. That made me distrust Mitch, although he was honest in saying that. Who else did I really get along with? Rachel's my main person. Yeah, I think that's all I can say. Like, it was very, very apparent. Very, very early that Joey, Andrew, Georgia, and Laura were his thieves from night 1. They slept all next to each other. They were giggling all night long together. Like, it was like the cool kids on the back of the bus. Like, you just thought, like, it's great, and they're not lovely people, and they wanted me and Rachel in their alliance, and it's like great that seems like the majority of jump on that, but there's something very threatening about 4 people whose friendship seems to become so tight that it's separate to the game.
I had it.
Game and be like best mates, and so early that's like very threatening. So yeah, I liked aligning with Rachel.
I hate that. I really fucking hate those. I hate it when they fucking add enemies to the thing and just make it so much fucking more complicated.
Cara. Oh, I didn't know what I thought of Cara. Like, I was wary of her because she was
Okay.
Person, and player, and that's
fuck, I thought I could make that.
It's very hard to describe that kind of thing.
And it would literally say to her how hard that emotion is to predict. It's literally why is it but with her why she went home. So that was a good call by you.
Yeah, we did try and start to grab it. She got a second chance, which is fine.
Fuck!
Who else was even on that beach? Oh, yeah, Baden was aloof. Like, so coming into this game, I thought I want to align myself with the older, strong dad. Like, that's what I want.
Yes, that's what I would always do. That's what I would always say.
No.
I was always like protective of you. That's how I like. It has like such a good dynamic to have like the Roger and like.
Okay, we got it.
I don't want to probably age out of that thought, but like still in my 20s, that's how I always thought that dynamic would be a mom or a dad.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Babe was perfect for that. Like, because I don't want to align with someone. Like, if I'm aligning with a girl who's like my age and we're like clicking, I can see that that's
Another one?
fun, but like could be threatening.
Alright, whatever. We're gonna end here. This might be it for tonight.
People are aligning together that are interested in each other.
Thanks for watching.
That's obviously dangerous.
Actually, let's go in and
on the show.
save and quit, I guess.
And yeah, I kind of just thought that
Where
would
are
be
we
the first
at
thing,
right now?
because when I saw Baden, I'm like,
1,000
I don't know what
deaths,
to click
cool.
with him, but
Yeah,
he was
thanks for
aloof
keeping going for
for
nothing.
the first week. Like, he wasn't